Okay. So the logic that we're doing, again, my disclaimer, I'm not taking any trades. I'm done for the day. I did well on probably 90% of my accounts. I had two, I think, that got caught. And most of the time it was on either last night when I was trying to trade the Asia, to come to find out there was a $10 to $15 bid to ask price separation that was really bad. Even the wins were coming back as losses at times, which is crazy. But overall pretty good. I was using this strategy specific to my funded account. And it's one of those things where like you want to keep going because it's working, but I had to stop. But these are my two EVs that I did. And so I made 3,200 on these doing 1NQ, mostly trading this rule. And look at see how that's continuing to play out, Cody? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm stopped out of it when I was on, but
it's mind blowing to me because there's been many instances where it saves me from taking a trade I would have taken, but then there's times where, like here, I probably wouldn't normally have taken this trade north because we're pretty head and shoulders, pretty clear resistance. But look, this is working again. So here's the logic of that you're looking for.
Well, how far back would you trail it?
So that's the thing, right? What I've been doing, typically every time that we study this, you're going to see between an $8 to $10 movement at least. So I'll let it go up about, $5 to $10. And then a lot of times I'll put it back, like on 1NQ, I'll put it at like a $50 profit, which is like, I think $2 and something away from your entry, right? And then I'll let that kind of go. Then what I do, well, I'll explain that in a second, because we all kind of know how I play.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
So I'm going to give you the breakdown of the simple rule, and then we're going to expand on that. The only thing that I have completely back tested is the simple entry using LSMA. And so let me open this up, because otherwise, so people can come in that want to come in here. All right. So the simple rule is I'm using LSMA as my base solely, 100%. This is on the 1 minute. This is on Heikinashi. I'm using LSMA as my base. I want to look for a breach wick. That's what I've called it. It's basically where the wick exceeds LSMA, and then it comes back into channel. That is a perfect setup. If you end up where, like, let's say this one doesn't breach it, but then this one breaches it, right? Then this becomes your breach wick. It doesn't really matter to me whether it closes or not, but it seems to be better when it breaches it and closes back into LSMA channel. Then what you want to do is you want to identify when the price closes. Like right here was really, really close, right? 912.25, but the price closed at 912. So you might have gotten caught in that if you pulled the trigger a little bit early on there. It keeps a tighter stop loss. So let's say you pulled the trigger early here, right? Then it comes down. The moment it closes into LSMA again, you have to close that trade. So if you did get caught, you would have closed that, right? But that's a $6 movement. So you're talking about $20 per dollar, right? $120 loss, whatever. But then it comes back through, right? Now you still got another close above this one, and this one, right? So you would re-enter that, and then you would have earned that back and then some. If you didn't get caught, if you were patient on that, right, then you would have entered on this candle here when it breached all of these, right? Then that would have took you long. So just remember, everything is about rules, right? So there's literally, this is the most simple strategy I can teach you. So LSMA, breach, need to close above the breach. Same rules apply for the southern. So let's just back test how many times that would have happened. So you look here. See, these are the ideal scenario setups right here. So you have breach, just missed the close. So what if you entered early here, this time it would have played out. If you waited for this close here, right, you still would have played out. It still dropped another 20 some odd dollars, right? We're not going to talk about trailing and all that yet. I'll go over that in a second. So see again, breach wick. So here's your wick right there. Your close would have been right there. Played out another good long, right? And so you would have had to have been patient and waited for this one this whole time to get that close above there. Come back through. So here, right, you have a breach wick right there. You got the close above it. Now the close is at 911. This is where I was telling you, Cody, right? So you can see between 915 and 917. So depending if you trail this one or not, you might have gotten a win out of it. But the good thing is, even if you entered here, right, the moment this thing closed back below LSMA, you stopped out of it. So your entry would have been 911. Your stop out would have been 908. It's a $3 stop loss, and then you would have not got caught in that whole mess. So this one right here is our breach wick right there. We never got the close below it, right? So we would have never taken it. Again, if you did take it because you kind of jumped the gun a little bit, that's fine. But once you get a close above, you have to close out of that, right? So if you did jump the gun, you figure 884 to 96, a little bit bigger of a stop loss, right? But again, it didn't quite meet that qualification. Then we come back down here. Same thing, breach wick, got the close above, really good long. Breach wick, got the close below right there, really good short. Breach wick was like right there, really. Got the close above, really good long. You got the breach wick, got the close below, really good short. You got breach wick, close above, really good long. And there's more times than not that you're going to get a really good pull from it, from what I've noticed. And so how you want to handle the risk and the stop loss is up to you. But you can continue to just back test and look at this. And it's pretty crazy how good it is, right? So you got, again, a breach wick, got the close below it about right here. Played out well. Breach wick, even with this close above it here, it still ended up going up another $30. And that's a risky one, right? Because you've already had such a big push and it still played out. Breach wick, got the close, played out. Breach wick, notice how you didn't get the close until here, and then it played out, right? Come back through. So technically your original, depending how you played this, right? Your original breach wick is here. You would have already entered that there, which would have been 938, and we dropped all the way to 928. So that's a $10 move, right? So you would have trailed for probably a small win. What I do is I don't use this breach wick again if I've already taken one trade out of that, right? And that's where I'm going to talk a little bit about continuation. So continuation, you can do this two ways. A, you can let it close back above, then let it create another breach wick, and then take the short on the close, which you see played out. That would be the original rules. The continuation rules, what I'm playing with is, okay, let's say I get a fall. I look for a doji, give me that high-low wick, and then I want to close below that doji, which we didn't quite get, right? And then that would give me my continuation. Sometimes it's worked out well. I have gotten caught on it a couple times. If you're going to do that on a continuation, if I enter based on this high and this low, let's say, and I get a close below there, if I enter here and it pumps up and closes above this high, I have to get out of it. That's your stop. It's literally that tight, right? So 934 to 944, so $10 stop. Continuations they're more risky, right? So if you're a patient trader and you want to just take a little more surefire bets, look how many times this works. You got your wick, got your close above, played the long. Got your wick, got your close below, which was 938, and it went all the way down to 928, 28, 29, right? So $10 move. And like I said, most of them are good for at least an $8 to $10 move. but there's a lot of them that are really good, right, for length. So my suggestion, if you want to catch the bigger ones, play with this strategy with 1 MNQ. Let it go. So like, for instance, here, you get your wick, got your close above, so you would enter right there. We'll just call that our entry line. We'll make it like orange. So this is going to be our entry. Then you're obviously going to let it push up before you begin to trail it. So if you let it push up at least $5, would be somewhere, you know, here, right? Preferably $5 to maybe $7, somewhere around there is what I'm noticing. Then you're going to take your stop loss, right? And you're going to set it just below the prior wick or prior candle open, right? Which would be here. So if we're somewhere in this range here, we would set it to right there. Now we're in profit by $3. If it comes back, it you know, wicks you out for, you know, whatever that profit ends up, right? Then you let this candle close. So once this one closes and you go into that one, right, you just move it up to the next candle. Then once that one closes, you go to the next one. Then you just move it up to this candle. And you just continue to do that. And you can see if you did something like that, right, throughout this entire play, it wouldn't have domed you out till right there. So we would have entered at 848 and we would have closed it at 869. That's a $21 move. That's a really big trade. So if you're 1 NQ, you're looking at what's that, a little over about $400, $500 on that move, right? And you could do something similar here. Now, if you see here, right, how it wicked and then we close. So even if you entered right there, which would be after the close, right? Now it went up, went down. You're letting this kind of oscillate. When it went $7 down, which would be somewhere about here, right? Then you would just moved it right in front, just right in front of your entry. Even if you're same candle, right? You could do it because, so this likely would have came up and possibly domed you out as a small one right there, right? Now, this is like, it's teaching you all how to really trade, like when you're not doing prop firms and you're actually trying to catch longer runs. When you kind of catch longer runs, you're going to get domed out quite a bit. But there's going to be times, right, where you're going to capture really good runs like these plays, right, where you're just following, trailing, and then it you know, and sometimes shoot, if you did a strategy like this in Asia, like you look at here, right, again, you wouldn't get domed out to like right here. But you have to be really patient to let these candles close, just slowly pulling that up. And you have to be willing to give up some profit, right, in order to really catch those bigger runs. But that's literally the simplistic version of the entry. To go long, you need a breach above LSMA and then a close above that breach wick. To go short, below the breach wick. Now, what I'm playing with is trades back to LSMA, right? I want to weigh what is my risk and reward. So if I wanted to take this short off a double top back to LSMA, I would use the same rule that says, okay, I need some wicks, right, like this. Then I get a close below those wicks, right, which would be like 922. Then I can take that short back to LSMA. But I also have to weigh in the risk and the reward, right? Somewhere like here, where I begin to get wicky, right? See how you closed above and it played out pretty well. But this is also 9, 10 all the way to here is like $20, $30, right? So depending where this closes, if it closes right here, you might not want to take that short, right? Maybe you wait for the breach and then take the actual true short, right? The only reason why I'm trying to find re-entry, either in the reversal or the continuation, is sometimes, you know, like here, you would take one trade and then you're going to just kind of be waiting for about an hour, right, before the next trade sets up, which some people, that's fine. So now I would look at this two ways. If this were to break down, let's say I'm not comfortable taking the short because we are pushing, possible cup and handle. I would prefer to maybe stay more long because I'm above LSMA. Let this thing come back to LSMA is another re-entry, right? You can either do it two ways. And this is what I'm showing you multiple ways on the reentries because I want y'all to test this and you guys let me know what you find. So you can take this as a block, right? As a high-low block. If I get a close above the high, I'll take the continuation. Or just like you would the short there, right? Or you just say, I'm going to be patient, wait for it to come test LSMA. Then on the doji, then I get a close above that doji, then I'll take the continuation. Does that make sense? Everybody following?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But I want you guys to back test it and just look as many times as you can at how many times it's pretty accurate, right? So let's just go back a little ways. So you got, so technically this will be our breach wick. We never got the close, right? Then it came back into channel. This is our next breach wick, got the close above. That one played out fine. This one right here, we can tell already played out fine, no matter how you sliced it. Breach wick, got the close. This one was the one that we said, you know, it's still within $7 to $8 profit. Let's go a little ways. Look at, I'm sure most of you guys are the same as even me, right? Because I teach to top to bottom trading. My worst days tend to be when we go directional, like really bad. This is how it is because I'm looking for tops, I'm looking for bottoms, right? And you get caught. This one rule, look at how well this thing would keep you safe in a big old pump, right? So think about this. If you got your breach wick here, you entered there, this would be trade one. At some point you got stopped out. Then it came down, it came up, you got your dojis right here, you got to close above the dojis, continuation, right? Came down, you got your hammer / doji, close above it, continuation. Got the dojis, close above it, continuation. You got the dojis, never got to close above it, right? So you would never take the continuation. Now you come through, you get the breach wick south, close below it, and look at, we just literally survived $120 run, taking 3 trades, and then caught the perfect top on the way back down. It's pretty crazy. So now let's say hypothetically I take this trade and then it comes back this way. If you now meet the condition for a short and you're closed below LSMA, you got to stop out. You just have to. Like there's no, I mean, it sucks. It didn't work. It's not going to be 100%, but it's pretty freaking good. So we know that long played out. So if you look here, even on this one, right, this is more continuation, but you can see we got breach wick. We got the close below. So your entry would be 820. We got all the way to 811. It's $9. You should have, you know, if you're just do not, the only thing I would tell y'all is do not be greedy with your profit. If it moves $7 in your favor, you know, throw that thing at like 4 ticks above your entry, right? That way it's still a win, even if it comes back, right? But then you would have had your breach above. Here's your breach wick back below. Got your close would have been there, right? This is more re-entry because we never really like came above it, right? So this is more re-entry. So this one you might have closed it, let's say right there. But even if, again, back on that, if you're tight, 830, you would have closed it on right here, 838, $8 movement. Then you would have had another breach wick. You would have had a close below, and you would have probably made more than $8, or yeah, on the movement there, right? Depending on how you played your stop loss. So, but let's look at it again here. So breach wick, right? So this one was really close. So it looks like it closed above. Again, the next candle closed below, but look how tight your stop loss would be. 790 to 786. That's a $4 stop loss, right? And then on the next breach wick, with the close above, which would have been right around there, you know, you would have took that, have been a small win. Then you have the doji, the close above would have been another small win, right? My recommendation is though, just be really picky. Again, I have not fully tested because the only times I've been caught mostly is when I'm trying to do the re-entry, right? So you guys have to play with that and just be very, very cautious of the re-entries. But you can see again, breach wick here, we got the close, right? Came back down. Now, let's say like, again, this is all going to matter on your volume, right? In your risk management. If I want to take additional risk and maybe not close it just because it went above LSMA, right? Let's say I'm using 2M and Q because I want to practice this. We can still set something that says, okay, well, maybe I identify a trend line, right? Maybe I can take that and say, hey, I have a pretty clear trend line. I'm going to keep it open, even if we cross LSMA, as long as we don't cross the trend line, right? Could be a rule that you take, right? Because we're still in that downtrend. So you know, as long as we stay in this downtrend, we're in that downtrend. But you can see again here, wick, close above, played out good. These would be the continuation ones, right? See how we came up? And this might be something that we could think of as a rule. I want you guys to look at and play with when you're playing continuations. Maybe we need a breach of LSMA and a pullback. Then we use the low of that candle that breached it, and we take that close there, right? Because then that would have played out pretty good. So you have none of these right here breached it, right? So it would have kept you safe from trying to take any additionals. So maybe you need that breach, that pullback like that, right? See how it did it here again, right? See how you have a breach. This was our low. Notice how we did not close below that low, right? Until pretty much there, right? Which would be 844, and we still got down to 840, but you know, eventually, right, 830. So, but you know, again, you got to weigh your risk management too. If I'm here and LSMA is my stop loss, that's 844. This is like 861, right? Which is $20. It's not that bad if your volume is lower. So the continuation is the only thing that's a little tricky. But basically, you're just looking for dojis and you're trying to look for the closes above and belows on those. But you can see here again, right? You got your breach wick, you got your close above it, ended up getting a little bit of a pop. But this is again, this is twice now though that you can see. If I would have closed it here, I would have reopened it there. So the safer play would just be to close it and then reopen it, and then you made your money back. But for those using smaller volume, you can take, you know, identify some form of trend line, right? And just tell yourself, hey, you know, we got our breach, we got our close, I'm going to take it. As long as I maybe we say, you know, a trend line like this, maybe we use this trend line. See how it never got a close below our alpha trend line? So what I want is, as a team, collectively play with possible re-entry rules and see if you notice anything. I'm going to continue to do the same. Because the re-entry seems to be the one that's a little tricky, right? Because you see you still got a breach here, got a close, still played out good. Got a breach, you got the close, still played out good, even in those climbs, right? And then see, even in a re-entry, you would have your doji, but then your close is all the way down there, right? So I might not want to enter that one because it's right on LSMA. Let's see. This one here, you can see this was our breach. Got the close above, played out good. This was our breach, got the close below. This one came up a little bit, but it ended up playing out good. And this was after the crazy news open, man. Last night was so bananas. So if you look at the big fall we had too, Friday, guys, if you think about it, let's see. So we did get a breach. You got the close. This will be the important thing about, you know, getting the close. But this actually looks like it could be a possible good addition to the rule. See how we didn't get a close until here below the trend line. So maybe if they're close, right, you take LSMA and that trend line. So you would have closed it there. But now you would look at this as, okay, we have a breach wick here. So you could have actually flipped it, right? Because even if this put you in a long and you closed it, now you met condition for a short. And then you would have caught the short there on the side. So got the breach wick, but we never got any close above it. If anything, you got your doji for the continuation. You got the close below that, right? And that would have played. You got, again, possible breach right there, close above it. Came back down. You got your breach wick, close above it. But see how, like, in these instances where it keeps you safe, like you have a breach wick, but you never got to close above it, right? Until it came back down, and then you get a better entry with it. So even here, your close above it would be 929. We get up to 935, right? So it's $6 movement. So again, that's why I said, you know, in the beginning, just try to keep your stuff pretty tight. But it's works. It's not 100%, you know, but at least it'll give you some discipline, setting stop losses a little bit closer. So if it meets your condition, right? So like we said on this one, you would have had a breach wick. We got the close above it right there. You'd be in a long. And now you would not be shorting this, right? The only way I would short this. So actually, remember we were playing with the possible continuation. So this would have been your close on the continuation, which would have played out. But I'm not sure I like that, but I'm gonna play with it a little more. Maybe we use it like it's got to be above LSMA, above the blue trend line, and then get the close above it, right? But you guys know I'm not usually a huge fan of trading a lot of continuation. I'm more reversal. So this is intriguing to me because there's a lot of trades in here that I probably wouldn't even take myself. That I'm like, well, you know, I'm gonna try it and take it, and then it actually plays out pretty good. So, any questions, thoughts? I know, Stefan, you've been playing with it. It's worked out good for you.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Everything is on point, and like I'm racking up, no mistakes. Keep it tight, follow the rules, and it goes pretty good. It's just a re-entry like you're doing. I'm just learning how you're doing it because I didn't touch that side of it. Like you said, I'm just waiting for LSMA to cross. I'm not doing the re-entry yet. I'm just doing like step one, and that's pretty solid.
Yeah, and that's why I was my opening disclaimer is, you know, the rules of the first entry using LSMA with the break wick, you know, that one's pretty accurate. I would say over 95%. But the re-entry is what I'm kind of playing with, right? So if you're one that, you know, has a little bit of emotion still when you're trading, just tell yourself, you know, like in this instance right here, I'm not taking a trade till we either come back to LSMA and get a doji, then a break above it, right, for the continuation, or I want to come back to LSMA, get my breach of it, and then take the drop. And it'll help create patience, you know, for you. And I think I don't know if he did this or not, but I might have him do it if not. But does he have a LSMA break condition? Let me see. No, let's see. Momentum.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that if you're gonna have like an alert or something that lets you know LSMA's been broken.
Yeah, so he has it as it looks like the color candles is there, extreme bullish and, you know, extreme bearish, but not the LSMA. So, yeah, I can ask him to add that when I meet with him next. That way, you know, like you know, you and I, or if we're working, right, you can add that.
But I try to do that with the levels, but LSMA keeps changing, right? So
yeah. And I would be surprised. I'm gonna continue to watch it, but you know, there's a way we could probably use LSMA for the basic entries, but use LSMA and the trend line for plays back, right? Like maybe we need a doji with a low and then get a close below that low and a close below this trend line, right? Maybe back test that and see how that worked out. Because you can see even in this short, I mean, this one played out, but see how we never got a close above the trend line till right there, right? And then it actually played. So I don't know. I just thought it was pretty intriguing.
does the size of the wick, does it matter, or are you just looking for that bridge?
I'm just looking for the breach. The ideally, you know, when we get something like that, I would prefer it breach and then come back in, right? That seems to be the best, right? When it breaches and then retraces, then on the very next one that closes above it, right, it tends to play out pretty well. It's mostly what I'm looking for, but yeah, other than that, guys, that's really the old nuts and bolts, as they say. And but we can kind of watch this and let's play. Let's see if we can get any kind of doji or any condition of it. So the condition I would look for is, do we get a push, you know, push up, push back, right? And see how this is keeping you safe from taking a short, because it's really not a terrible short, right? Like a lot of times if I see resistance like this, and I start to see it wick right here, that first red candle, I'm taking a short, and you can see how it kind of keeps you safe out of that because you're waiting for either some form of a doji, some kind of like I need a wick, up down. I definitely don't want to take a short when I got 3 flat bottoms. So let's just watch this and see how it plays out. Again, if y'all want to trade it. I'm probably not going to. Pretty much done for the day. Oh, the registration on the Alpha Dog funding is working as well. So Alex pushed that. Yeah, I was right. He'd pushed an update, and he says, I pushed the update. He goes, I swear I tested it. It worked. I don't know why it's not working. But I think if anything, like the biggest thing about why I want to teach this to you guys is that, and I'm going to even start to integrate it into my trading more, is because, again, as many of you have seen, and I'm sure many of you do, right? The days where this thing just wants to keep doing this, those are like my worst days, man, because it's like you're looking. I don't typically like to chase these. I look for the imbalance, right? And I want to chase the retracement back because it more times than not it does do that. But when you get in these forever climb days, right, it ends up getting you. And so now it's kind of nice because you could, maybe I'm not in this long still, but I'm waiting patiently for my retracement. Now I have a plenty of room to come back to LSMA. It is a magnet. It likes to pull it back all the time. It does. But I need to have some kind of wick, right? Some kind of, swing wick. And I still don't have it. Even with a little wick there, I want to like, give me a wick, give me something, give me some sauce. Otherwise I'm going to wait. Just be patient. And I think this will help create some patience for some of you. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you still have that tendency to feel like you always have to be in a trade. Okay, so we're starting to get a doji. See how we're doji? Now we actually have a decent wick. So let's let this thing close. So I'm going to play with a condition. What I would like to see is if this candle closes in a doji, I want to close below that wick and below this trend line. And then we'll see how that plays. Look at that retracement. It's because it's losing this level here. See how it created a higher high, but it's losing the level. So we got the doji. So if we get a close below, I'm just going to teach you guys how to manually do this without actually trading it, right? So if you need to put a line to help give you that visual, so close below 49 and 40 seconds and we'll be in. Now, if this thing just freaking drops to the floor, then you just missed it. It's not a good setup at that point. It went too far. So we'll just wait and see. My wife learned the hard way yesterday that you have to wait for the candle to close. she went into one like right now. She's like, "Oh yeah, I went short," and then it just went parabolic north. And I was like, "Why'd you go short there?" I was like, "It didn't close." She goes, "Yeah, but you said if it was below this line." I'm like, "Yeah, but you still have to get the candle close." So 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you will be in it here. So this will be our entry. Again, this is a re-entry. It's not our normal conditions. I just want to watch and see because we got to close below the wick and we got to close below the trend line. Let's see how this plays out.
Quick question,
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
On the entry or the condition, that Hakanashi, obviously price action is lower than the close of that wick or that candle.
Just watch the ticker. So the body, ideally you want the body on Heikkanashi to be below here because that shows momentum, right?
Okay.
But as long as your ticker closes below there, right,
Okay.
when the candle closes, then you should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of my specific questions. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. So we're still at 47 here. So I want to see if we get our pull. So when I get down to about 40, right? I'm going to move it down about $2. So we have another candle. Oh, getting a little bit of a push there. Let's see. And again, this is just re-entry rules. I just want to see if it plays out. So let's see. So I'm just waiting for this to move. I haven't set a stop loss on it yet from a ticker's standpoint. So we're at 42. Come on. I want to see that sucker tap 40. So we got 16 seconds. We'll see where this close is. So now if you set a condition here, right, our condition would be and I'm just adding conditions. I have not tested this. So maybe if we get a close back above this trend line, right, that would be our stop. I want to see how well it actually works. Actually, we also have, technically we have a trend line, right? So we could use the trend line as well, maybe. Let's play with it and see. But I want the whole purpose of this group is, you know, I want to have everybody kind of working together to try to find as many rules or extra conditions, because what we're going to do, if I can perfect the conditions, then Paul and I are going to create an indicator, and I'm going to only give the indicator probably to the mentees. That way it actually tells you, you know, when to buy and sell. So let's see if our trend line condition holds on that. And remember, guys, you're not always going to have the top and the bottom, right, of everything. So you don't want to panic just because it goes a little bit against you.
Also, if you go with the trend line from south to north.
There's our 40, so I'm going to move this to 45. So now if it hits this, I'm out. Okay, so it moved down a little bit, so I'm going to move it down to 40 just to secure some profit. We are coming into LSMA, so let's just put this at like 40. Because our entry would have been 47, so it's a $7 profit, which is pretty good. So I'm going to leave it at 40 now. Either that's going to be come up and tap me out, or I have to wait for a candle close to close lower. Then I'll begin to move it more. Other than that, I'll just take my $7 win and I'm out. We might get a little bounce off of LSMA here. And you could, you know, if you're not looking for real big wins, you could always say, okay, well, if this comes down into LSMA, right, I'm gonna trail it tighter, right? If that's what you want to do, that would probably depend on your volume. So our entry was 47. We could move the stop loss up to the top of that candle and begin to do the candles. Let's just see how well this plays out. I'm going to follow the candles and we'll see how low we can get it. But either way, isn't it cool how it kept you safe, right? It kept you into the condition. This is the hardest part for people because you're in big profit, right? If you're 1NQ, that's $200 in profit you're giving up. If you're not comfortable with that, then that's fine. Just tighten your stop loss up, right? But if you want to practice getting like really big, you know, wins, following the bottoms of the candles is what you want to do. So we'd move the stop loss to the bottom of that candle. Anybody actually take this trade? Like I said, I'm not, but I know how you guys are. One of you did. Stefan, I know you took it. No. So, but you can see how the continuation back to LSMA plays out pretty well. So you figure if you're 1NQ, you know, $7 is what, $140 trade. And if you trailed it tighter, right, you'd already be out of it, but you know, potentially $200-300 trade just on that one setup.
Yeah, I got it a little too tight on my trail.
Yeah, this takes so much patience. And this is where, you know, Cody, like you mentioned in the comments, you know, maybe test this out, guys, trading one MNQ, because then you look at it and you're like, because then you're trading the skill, and you look at from here to here, one MNQ is like $20. You're like, I'll give up $20 for that, you know? So now we have another candle, right? So we're going to move this stop loss down. So now we've secured $10. So we're $200 secured profit. This is going to be really sick, guys, for our new prop firm, because I'll be honest with you, I've been playing with it a lot on the DX trade. And you guys will probably never guess, because of how I've traded Tradeovate. Tradeovate, I love the DOM. I hate the chart. DX trade, I don't really like the DOM, but I like the chart. The chart's pretty sick. And so you could actually do this pretty easily using the chart on the DX. So like, let me bring it up. Oh, we have another candle bottom. See, we'd still be in this, guys. Still be in it.
And we're gonna meet the LSMA trade rules, right? Look, just body let's get short.
So see how we're getting close to the 200? This is where I would say, okay, I'm not willing to give up $30 in profit, right? So I would probably cut this in half and maybe pull it to just below where the body is now, right? And then as I approach the 200, I may tighten it up even more, right? Maybe I just pull it even closer, because I know how the 200 likes to bounce. But guys, I mean, you guys seen it right here. I mean, we would still be in this trade. And see how I use the bottoms to just kind of follow that. So now
that would have been big time right there,
dude. Yeah. Look at this. Let's put it at like 918, because we're either going to come tap the 200 and I'll pull it down again. But think about this, guys. We entered at 947. That's a $30 movement. That's a $600 trade, 1NQ. But look how much patience I have to let this thing go. We still haven't got stopped out. Okay, well, you guys get that. So let me show you. So this is the platform. I was playing with the chart. It's actually kind of cool on how the chart works, basically, right? So when you have the chart, so let me, I'm going to close out of all this trades and stuff. So, all right. So this is kind of the chart. And it's kind of cool me teaching you all this now, because let's say I wanted to take a long, right here. So just set my long, and I want to say, okay, I think we're going to doji, get a close, reclaim of this candle at least, right? So I can set a take profit, you know, all the way up here. You can just come up here, you hit a plus sign, right? And then we would sell limit. And then if I want to set a, you know, stop loss, let's say below this low or wherever I want to set it, you can hit the plus sign, or you can right click and you can literally put, you know, sell stop right there. Now this is where, see, this is my entry, this is my sell stop, this is where dragging it comes in. So right here, right, I can say, okay, well, we're in profit. I'm going to move it up to, you know, there. Now I'm within profit.
Wait, I missed it. What are you on? What is that?
This is the new platform we're going to be using for our prop firm.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
DX trade.
Yeah, it's DX.
I like that. That's like Top Step.
Yeah, and so see how the candle moves. So that's why I'm teaching you guys this way, because this is how, look how easy I can move my stop loss. See how it's now it's there. Now it's there. I can move it up. So now I can follow the candles, which I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have been pretty DOM friendly. I love the DOM, but how many times do I go, whoa, where'd my DOM go? And you see me just scrolling like this going, where is it, right? And so as I play with this other one, I kind of do like it, because I don't have to worry about the DOM. I can just follow the candles, and look how easy it is to move it, right? And we move it up into profit and then see it fill the order. So the only thing I don't know, they have an ATM, but I haven't figured out how to get the ATM to work on the chart. But I think you're going to probably see CK and I pivot in the mornings to trying to teach people how to do it without the ATM. I can't tell you how many trades I get domed out at $30 and then the thing goes, right? Like, I mean, look at this trade here. Look how many times we would have been domed out back here, right? Where it was just going like this, right? And then you miss the whole fall. So I think we're going to pivot to try to teach you guys how to trade on this. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? So you set up a positions, I have my equity balance and all the stuff in there that I need, net profit for the day. And then from there, just buy or sell, right? So if it meets your condition, let's say you want to, just for the sake of it, we'll buy again. You just right click, set stop loss, and you can see how fast I have the stop loss set. And then
you just have to put it manually. You have to put
yep,
everything in.
and if I want to play the reclaim of this candle, I'll just right click, right? And then you would do the same thing, buy stop market at. And then if you want to cancel this one, you just click on it and hit the trash can. Come on. You probably could just press delete. I don't know. But to me, it seems pretty easy to work like this, right? And you can see your P&L and all this stuff and your balance equity. So they gave us a demo test one for our prop firm. So this is what it would look like for you. I mean, I have to modify the widgets. It just like Tradovate, it comes out looking like ridiculous. But let's wait and see. But you can see it's very similar to Tradovate. It's not too bad. I actually like this. I think I'm gonna get used to doing it this way.
I like it better like that.
Yeah, I think I do too. Which is, like I said, y'all would never guess that I would say that because I love the DOM.
You got an ATM feature?
So it
Or did I
does.
miss that?
Okay, so if you put on the DOM, which is right here, right? So if I add a DOM, this is what I'm playing with. All right, so if we add the DOM, all right, this is why I don't like the DOM. If you look at it, so if you press this, it centers the ticker, but look at the ticker, it's white on white. Like, who designed that? You can't even tell where the ticker is, right? I mean, you see your entry right there, right? And I mean, we know the price. But this one has an ATM right here. But I don't know. Maybe if I set it here, it works for the chart too. Let's try that. So let's just flatten this. See how the DOM just is a little off to me. I don't see a way to edit the ATM as well. But you can add multiple limits, take profits, stop losses, and all that in here. You can see the distance, right? So we can come in here and say, like, I think it's distance and pips. So let's say we'll do like a 20. Okay. So you can, but I wonder, let me flatten it. If I push it here, okay, so if I push it here, it doesn't do it. But if I push it here, it does. So like on Tradovate, you have to set it within the graph, and that's what I have not played with. But it looks like the cool part is, so to me, it looks like you can set it here, right? So if I want to go buy, and then see how it just set it, it set my limit orders, and then I can just adjust them. Right.
So you set the stop loss before, let's say it was going to be like 10 ticks. So when you press buy, it automatically goes to stop loss 10 ticks, and then you can move it.
So in this system, I think it works as pips, not ticks, I believe. And so when you look at it, so when I put 20, yeah, see how it went $20? So 1 pip is $1 basically in trading. Yeah. So that's it's a quick way to set your stop loss, and then you could just manipulate it, right?
You just have to put in like that 25 cents or whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, then it's only going to make your stop loss 25 cents away.
No, I just mean like if you wanted in between dollars.
Oh yeah, quantity dollar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can go lower. Let me see. Yeah, I can go higher, but I can't go lower than 1. Most firms do pips. They don't. Not a lot break it down by ticks, but which is fine. But again, all I care is having it manually set it is all I care about, because then from there I'm just going to adjust it, right? And then it should. Let's see if it closes all of it. Let's trail it. Yeah, closed everything. Oh, it has my prior long. This was the long I was in earlier before I did it. I was like, why didn't that close? So let's see. Let's try it again now that we know it's all clear. Let's see if we hit this stop loss here. Because that's another important thing, right? Yeah, see, it clears it all. I just want to know, think about it, like for you, Alpha and some others, like, if I'm working and I'm like, oh, I got a good setup, you set your take profit, set your stop loss, right? When it closes it, I want to know that it's going to close everything, right? But yeah, so this will be what you're going to see us start trading on this probably even as soon as tomorrow. So, but I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be it's going to be a little bit different at first, but the way that we teach it, I think will be good. I think I'm actually kind of excited for it.
Yeah, that's great.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll keep playing with it. And the nice thing is it's on the DX feed, so it's not even it's not part of like the Trade of 8 CME stuff. So it seems to be more stable as we've tested it.
So now we have to download this one.
Well,
guess-
we'll have all that information once we release.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Is it URL based, or is it an application you have to install?
this is a web base.
Okay, that's good, because my work, they don't let us install
Yeah.
applications without the
Yeah, no,
admin access.
Canadian friendly.
yeah, it says it is.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to stop play this one. So let's put our take profit up at the prior high. I wouldn't have entered it technically until we got to close above that wick right there, but I don't like how it doesn't show the time on the ticker, but I mean, I'll be using Trade of 8 most of the time anyways. Most of the time I'm going to be using Trade of 8 to identify my level, and then I'll just move this to the level. Oh, you can set alerts on it too. That's good. And this market is going to be bananas, guys. I don't know, because it to me it sounds like Trump's going to figure out a way to work it out with China like he usually does, and if that happens, then I think we're going to go north in a big way. But because that majority of that drop was due to his comment, and we've already broken through some pretty key technicals that allow us to push higher. So that could just be a healthy pullback. But I'll tell you, if we reclaim this whole drop, man, we're going for big all-time highs, I think.
There was an email about that today. The Take Profit sent out about Trump's tweets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure a lot of people made a lot of money on Take Profit, I would guarantee you. If they were in the right direction. A lot of people got their accounts blown, and a lot of people, I was watching TikToks and people are like, you know, how I lost $4,000 in 2 seconds when Trump spoke. And he was literally like, you know, showing his recording, and he's like, yeah, you know, all right, we got an A+ setup. We're all good. We're good to go. And then he like looked over, and then it dropped, and he looked back, and he's like, oh, like you see his face. And I was just like, I know that face all too well, guys. You go to the bathroom, come back, and go, wait, what happened? So, but yeah, y'all get a little sneak peek. Perks of being in the room.
That was me this morning. I think it was like 7:03.
Yeah, it's just like, wait, what? Where'd that come from? Getting a little, let's see.
And Nick, as far as this strategy is concerned, I know last time you mentioned MVL Alpha. Are you just using that for like the color in the candle, or is there any other significance other than just bar play?
Yeah, so straight, and then that's where I want you guys to test it, right? Maybe we say, hey, you know, it works best on the breach. I mean, you can see here, breach a candle with a close. You know, maybe it works best when, you know, coming out of an orange candle. Maybe it works best coming out of a white candle, right? Like, I've only incorporated 2 things, LSMA and the trend line. So if you think about this, guys, I didn't even talk about that, but we played this really good long off of the continuation, right, which played all the way down. Technically, look, we got a breach wick, and it closed below. So even if you took this close, which was a pretty deep close into it, right, it still played out. Right, but having the continuation gave us the really big early entry.
Have we thought about doing it on the 200 as well? Same rule.
So I haven't played with the 200 because I've had a few times where I'm like, it's too close to the 200. I probably wouldn't do that, and then all of a sudden it like breaks right through it, right? And I'm like, oh, I guess it played out. But yeah, play with it. I mean, you know, like I said, I want next time we meet, which should be tomorrow. You know, let's get together and talk about it. Maybe there's something you guys identified, right? Because at the end of the day, if we find something cool, right, we're all winning. But yeah, I mean, let's play with your logic here. Well, I mean, you could. Here's where I would maybe at least acknowledge the 200, right? So we have our fall, we have our doji. We get a close above 906. I would take the long. Now, that would also be above the trend line, but it's not above the 200. So maybe I need to close above the 200, like 908. Then I'll take the long. So let's wait and see if that plays.
And you could make a trend line from top to bottom.
Yeah, I see that right there.
Yeah.
Hey Nick, my LSMA doesn't look like that. Do I have to just tweak the settings or turn off everything? I got the CK Pro LSMA.
No, if you have Alpha Dog, or not the Alpha Dog, I'm sorry, the Alpha one from CK, it's on there. If you don't have the Alpha, if you just have this one, it's gonna look different. See how it's all like.
I got that one.
And then make sure you're on the 1 minute, and make sure you're on MNQ1.
Okay.
And then Aikanashi.
And then the LSMA is that the violet one?
Yeah, see, it's the same.
Okay.
See.
And the trend line is that the 50?
No,
or is that the
LSMA
20?
is the gray one. Remember, we're going off the 1
Okay.
minute. We're going off 1 minute LSMA.
1 minute.
That's the 5 minute LSMA. And then the 15 is teal and 1 hour is white.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. See how we got the breach, but we didn't get the close. So it keeps you safe from taking a long. And I've had a couple of times where I was testing this. I was waiting and I'm like, oh, it's going to go. Okay, let me wait. Oh, nope, it didn't. Right. And then all of a sudden it drops even deeper. And you're like, man, like, you know, it keeps you safe. Because I've gotten caught in this, guys, as you guys will know, where I'll jump in a little bit early thinking, okay, we have white candle, deep fall, nice little trend structure, double bottom. This should, you know, push back up. And then all of a sudden it does one more stupid oscillation down, right, before it goes back up. Right, but see how that's kept us safe. This one rule that says you have to close above that doji just kept us safe. Now, I probably would not take a continuation here, right, because it's already in a fall. I would want to see a push, then a doji, then a fall. Then I would maybe take that continuation. This is not enough of a push for me. So until then, you just kind of hang out and wait.
Exactly. That's the best thing sometimes.
Yeah, no trade is better than a bad trade.
Yeah. That's what's happening. But since I'm doing this strategy, you know, a lot less in the trade, you know, more waiting and planning and like knowing your entry and knowing your exit, and just keeping out of the danger when you don't need to be, you know, and that's showing on my P&L right now.
I think even me, guys, trading away from the DOM is going to be a good thing for me, because sometimes I trade a lot of the DOM pressure, right? While I'll say, okay, it looks like it's finally, you know, DOM pressuring north. Let me get in and get a quick scalp. And sometimes lately it fakes you out, right? It's like, you know, okay, DOM pressure north, sweet. All right, I'm in, and then bam, it drops, and you're like, wow, where'd the pressure go, right? And so not having the DOM kind of keeps you away from those, and it creates the patience that says, hey, this is not it's really not a good time to enter. I don't want to go short because we've already gone short pretty far, and I don't really want to go long because I haven't met any qualifications to go long. It's just not a good time to enter. And sometimes as a trader, even for myself, as I continue to grow and learn, right, sometimes identifying the zone that you should not trade in is also a big lesson in itself. So let's wait and see. So we still have nothing here that sits up along it. I do got to get going soon, guys. I just realized it's 3 o'clock. Is that helpful though for you guys? Everybody understand it? Any questions? I just realized it's 3 o'clock.
Nope, I pretty much got it now. So
Dialed. I expect nothing but a payout in the next 7 days from your My Funded.
you know, only doing this strategy. That's it.
Yeah, try it, man. You know, so far so good. And again, if you want to take risks on some of the re-entries, just back test it a little bit, you know, see how it's working. Other than that, if you're playing this straight up, you would not take a short until you come back up and touch LSMA with a doji and a close below it. Then you would take a short. Or you would take a long if you get the breach and then the close above the breach. But you're basically not playing anything until you get either back to LSMA and reject off it, or to LSMA and a break from it. And that's going to create a lot of patience for you. So, but me, you know, if I'm sitting here and going, okay, LSMA is 927, guys, that's like a $40. I mean, I got
I'd still be probably playing like structure break or something.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of money to make back up to that, right? So, you know, now to your point, Cody, right? Don't forget you guys still have structure, right? We can still draw some structure. Say, okay, well, if this comes up here and I get a breach wick, because the whole breach wick idea comes from structure, right? Like this. I just, you know, when we were talking about it, I think Alpha, you mentioned it, right? We were talking about LSMA, and I'm like, well, let's look at it. And I'm like, wow, this actually, like, oh, if we do this, you know, that's how my mind works. I'm like, well, if we do this, it works. Okay, let's add this rule. Oh, that rule works too. And then it just kind of formulated in my brain there, and then to use it based off LSMA, right? But if you're far from LSMA and you want to play to LSMA, you would need the same conditions, right? You would need some form of doji with a close above it, or a breach wick through the trend line, then a close above that breach wick. I wasn't even paying attention to the price, but that's crazy. We got all the way to 964, guys. That almost reclaimed like just such a good chunk of the freaking fall. That's I reclaimed like $800 of the fall. I mean, it was a $1,300 drop, so still got a lot of room to go. But I don't know, it might. So we're in our breach wick. See that? We'll give it a few minutes and see if this one plays out, and then I'll send the recording out to everybody, so you don't have to request it. I'll just go down the list and send it to everybody.
It goes pretty quick when every candle's $20 or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at this candle. To your point, I mean,
Just
892
insane.
to 908. It's nuts. So if we get our close above here, 7 seconds. See, now me personally, I would prefer this come back a little bit, right? Because if it closes here, so there's our breach wick. So if we close above here, you can, this line doesn't mean anything. This was just my other entry thing. So we get a close. So technically the rule on a re-entry would be wick, close, any close above 913, you would take a long. But again, if this pushes up and closes like right here, it might not be enough for me. At this point, you might as well just wait for it to breach LSMA, and it's safer, you know? So let's see how it plays. Still didn't get the close above. See how it keeps you patient though from jumping back into that thing.
Saying that it's getting too close, I think, no, to LSMA, like $7.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well wait for the breach, right?
Yeah. You know, you have to finish off your sessions now, like with jet skis and Lambos for all. And all good night.
Yep, jet skis, gold chains, and Lambos.
Yeah.
CK is the first one that ever said that to me. I thought it was hilarious. See how patient this is keeping you from just jumping in?
Yeah.
And trust me, it'll test your patience, man. You're gonna be like, oh, like, you know, it's gonna go up anyways. It's fine. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, to your point, you know, you get so close to this, you might as well just wait, right? And so what I'm waiting for is either A, I want to touch on Lisma, or at least really close with a doji. Then I can trade the close below that, right?
The rejection.
Yeah, like this could be an interesting one. I want to see if it plays out, right? Because you kind of have a doji here.
Mm-hmm.
If we get a close below 906, you're also below the 200. You might be able to get a decent little scalp there. But this is kind of how I think about it, right? And I sit here and watch it, and I go, okay, I'm not going to trade this because it's kind of a new rule, but let's see if that would have played, right?
Yep.
That's my new you know, trying to think of what I want to say. The my new words that I'm or theme I'm going with is not all wins come in the form of a trade.
Yeah.
Sometimes just identifying something and having it work is good.
It's working out. The 13 did not pass the 12, so this one has to pass the 13.
Yeah, so this would be your doji play. We did not get the close. So this would be your when you're trying to get the close below there, and then that would take your sweep.
That's it.
But again, it's a continuation play. So the true play would be it'd be better if you get a tap here than a rejection, right? Then that's a clean rejection off Lisma. Would be better. But I'm still curious to see if this plays out because it still is a doji, and we got the close below. So this would be your entry 904. So you would begin to trail that around 898 or so, 897, 6, somewhere in there. Let's see. Yeah, so this one right here, see, not ideal, right? But if you think about it, although this could have been possible continuation on it, technically we're still break a structure north, right? Which would make that riskier. So that's why I was saying sometimes it's better just to wait for these breach. So we got the breach of wick now. So let's see where this one closes.
Well, it bounced on the trend line from the bottom there. If you
Yeah.
pull from the bottom of that.
Yeah, the uptrend. So this one is a true rule, right? So let's see if 7 seconds we'll get our established wick.
This is the bread and butter.
Okay, so we have our established wick. So let's do a little mock up here. So we need to close above there. And it's break a structure high or low off a trend line. Like it looks like it's gonna be a good one, but let's see. We got 26 seconds. I'd be surprised if this one doesn't play out because your white candle TVT, bullish divergence, structure break, LSMA break off the 200, like alpha, is turning blue. Everything in here shows this one should work.
Didn't really close on top of the wick.
Just missed it. Just missed it. So let's follow this one.
It's kind of inverse head and shoulders as well too.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff that's showing this one. So we did get our close. This would be our entry right there. Shoot, we're already up enough to follow it.
Yeah.
So I would just move it up to like 27. So if it comes back, and then it's a small profitable trade. Just because it went up $10, You want to still lock it in because you don't know. We could come up in this sweep hard,
Mm.
And sometimes it's going to do it. It's going to stop you out and go. It's frustrating, but that's the nature of trading. So it looks like it might stop us out. But still, isn't it cool to see it work? I mean, it's still that's a profitable trade.
Go little guy, go little guy. There you go. Ah, 260 on this one.
You took that one. Nice. Isn't it cool to see it work, though?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Since
I put my
yesterday.
stop loss at 28 and it downed me out right before it jumped. Oh, mate. That's good though. It did work well.
Mm-hmm.
Found me out too, but I got some of it.
Pretty freaking cool, guys. And again, if you didn't put that stop loss tight, let's just see how this would play out, right? So now we have the bottom of this candle. So
It'll be
remember,
nice.
our entry was 25, so our stop loss would be 28 right there. 29. Let's just see it. Let's see where this goes. So 13 seconds. Now look how patient we had to be, right? But we literally on this call, we had one trade and looking like two really good trades. So now we just move it up again. So we'll put it at 33. So either way, that's a $10 trade. That's a $200 trade. You only got two trades. And you were
Feels like a cheat code.
Isn't it? That's why y'all heard me say it, like, this one was like so apparent. I would have took this trade if I wasn't done, because I probably should have just took it on mine. But the when, like I told you, every single thing met. Where white candle, bullish divergence, structure break above the 200, retest on the 200, blue on alpha, met the qualifications on LSMA, like everything met.
Yeah. 10 contracts. Both.
Let's see how high we can trail this one. Let's go. We haven't got stopped out yet because see, the wick hasn't touched it. So we're gonna wait for the next candle. 5 seconds. Now we're gonna move it up to here, 37. So now it's like $13, so that'd be like $250 on one NQ. Play with this strategy, guys. I'm telling you, with one MNQ, it's not huge wins, but just to get used to it, right? And then trust letting it run. So this is why I think we're going to begin to teach people how to do this kind of crap without using the ATM.
And would you close that up a little bit? Let's say you're coming up into a key level. Would
So
you squeeze it a little bit to
Yeah.
remove your profit?
So this right here, right, is my resistance level. So if I see a resistance level, what I might do is maybe cut the candle in half, right? Put it like that. So that way it's not that, because you don't want to go too high, right? Because you're never going to get the really big explosion. But it also depends. Like right now, I'm only $7 away. You know, I mean, it's $140. I'm willing to give up $140 in profit to get a possible big, move, right? Now, if I get up into here, I mean, I don't think I will let it go more than about $7 to $10 away. The reason why I trailed this one tighter on half the candle is because it was like a $40 candle, $30 candle, right? I'm not letting it go $30 away. That's crazy. That's crazy. Right. But you'll never get the really big explosive candle if you push it. Like if I were to push this halfway, look, we already got domed out, right? Which could be a good thing. Or, this thing could turn and flip, And you could, maybe you said, something that says, if this candle closes, in a doji, like it looks like it's going to, maybe you just close it.
Yeah, because it's the first doji, right? All the other ones are flat bottom.
First doji followed by a close, right? So now you would close it.
Yeah.
So we would have closed it about right there, 39. And we entered it right about there, 25. That's $14, guys. That's a good trade.
With no stress.
And then now look, you could do similar continuation rule. Doji, we get a close below the doji, right? And below the trend line. I think the end below the trend line is what I like as a safety net, because sometimes it closes below the doji, hits this trend line, and then bounces. My wife cracks me up. I had her account up, and I know she can't watch all the time because she's at work. And so she was in that long, and it popped to 1,500, so I closed it quickly, right? Because on my funded, you can't make more than 1,500 anyways. And I was like, hey, I closed that for you. Otherwise it would have been a lot more. And I was like, you don't want to make more. And she's all, stop looking at my accounts. I'm like, I just saved you. She's talking about. But see how even this, look, this was the new addition rule. But if we take the doji, close below doji, technically you'd be in this 937, and you'd already be trailing $10. Isn't that crazy? Let's see where this goes. Like I said, I was trying to find the most simplistic rules I could give you guys that you can follow to help with discipline and setups, right? And to keep you out of the top and bottoms, you know, because I know a lot of you trade like me, because sometimes you'll text me and be in days that we like parabolic move and you're like, yeah, I got wrecked today. I'm like, oh, I didn't do too great either. So not my jam. But this type of rule setup could help us all, you know, where, you know, now we can trade those continuations. So if you would have taken the rule that's just the doji, you would already be in profit. If you took the rule of the trend line, then you would have entered there. So let's see where we go. And man, if we can trade this type of concept on an oscillatory day, like today, really, so good. But I'm gonna stop recording because that's pretty much the skinny.